So, where we left off, Sarah, the wife of Abraham, had just died, and their son Isaac had just gotten remarried. Moving on to Genesis chapter 25, we read, Abraham had taken another wife named Keturah. She bore him Zimram, Gokshan, Midian, Ishbak, and Suah. Jokshan became the father of Seba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were the Asherites, Lochiites, and Limnites. The sons of Dedan were Ephith, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. All these were the descendants of Keturah. Everything he owned, Abraham left to his son Isaac. But while he was still alive, Abraham gave gifts to the sons of his concubines and sent them out to the east, away from his son Isaac. Abraham lived a total of 175 years. Then Abraham breathed his last and died in a good old age. An old age who had lived a full life. He joined his ancestors. Again, 175-year lifespan shows that God never limited the human lifespan to 120 years, as many believe for some reason. With his death, however, it should be remembered that his children go on to change the world. Many modern religions show respect to this man, as he was a man of God. This includes Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Baha'i, Rastafarianism, and a lot of others. I need to make a video on those last few at some point, but I do have a couple videos explaining how Christianity, Judaism, and Islam do tie into each other quite a bit. His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in a cave of Machpelah near Mamre, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hethonite. This was the field Abraham had purchased from the sons of Heth. There, Abraham was buried with his wife Sarah. After Abraham's death, God blessed Isaac, and Isaac lived near Beer Lahai Roi. We see here where Isaac and Ishmael are on good terms, coming together to bury their common father. Both of these men are blessed in their own way and go on to form their own peoples, known as the Israelites and the Arabs. Just something to consider. Let's take a look at their descendants. This is the account of Abraham's son Ishmael, who Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's servant, bore to Abraham. These are the names of Ishmael's sons, by their names according to the records. Nebahoth, Ishmael's firstborn, Kadir, Edbil, Mibsam, Mishma, Dama, Masa, Hadid, Tema, Jetur, Nephesh, and Kedemah. These are the sons of Ishmael. These are the names of their settlements and their camps. 12 princes according to their clans. Ishmael lived a total of 137 years. He breathed his last, and he died. Then he joined his ancestors. His descendants settled in Havilah to Shore, which runs next to Egypt all the way to Ashur. They settled away from their relatives. So where is this now? Havilah is mostly Saudi Arabia, and Shur is modern-day Egypt. Keep in mind, borders of nations have changed over time. Shur is modern-day Egypt. This is the account of Isaac, the son of Abraham. Abraham, the father of Isaac. When Isaac was 40 years old, he married Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean, from the Padan Aram, and the sister of Laban, the Aramean. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was childless. The Lord answered his prayer, and his wife Rebecca became pregnant. Sounds like the family may have congenital reproductive issues. But the children struggled inside of her, and she said, if it's going to be like this, I'm not sure I want to be pregnant. So she asked the Lord, and the Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, 2 peoples will be separated from within you. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. Anyone who's a parent knows that every pregnant woman has felt like this from time to time. I've got 3 kids, I know how this is. We've never had twins, but I imagine it's twice uncomfortable. When the time came for Rebecca to give birth, there were twins in her womb. The first came out with reddish all over, like a hairy garment, and they named him Esau. When his brother came out with his hand clutching Esau's heel, they named him Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when they were born. First of all, a hairy baby, gross. Next, Jacob roughly translates to supplanter, which basically means he kind of acquires stuff, not really stealing, but in a dirty way. When the boys grew up, Esau became a skilled hunter, a man of open fields, but Jacob was an even-tempered man, living in tents. Isaac loved Esau because he had a taste for fresh game, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now, Jacob cooked some stew. When Esau was coming in from the open fields, he was famished, so Esau said to Jacob, "Feed me some of the red stuff. Yes, this red stuff, because I am starving." That is why he is also called Edom. But Jacob replied, "First, show me your birthright. Look at Esau." Esau said, "I'm about to die. What use is birthright to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear to me on oath now." And Esau swore an oath to him and sold him the birthright. It's strange that both generations are having trouble reproducing and women are making poor choices. Technically, Ishmael should have carried on the genealogy, going by Jewish law. Then, skipping him for Isaac's line, Esau should have had the birthright. This would have been quite the multi-generational scandal in Hebrew culture. Also, I want to know what this red stuff is. Sounds like maybe chili or something. Probably not, but that's kind of what my mind jumped to. I'm craving chili. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and lentil stew. Okay, so it's lentil stew. Yeah. Esau ate and drank, then got up and went out. So Esau despised his birthright. Now, of course, words change their meaning over time. The word despised here does not mean hate, but not attributing proper value to it. Like seeing a gold bar as just a piece of metal and tossing it aside. It is a piece of metal, but there's so much more there. With that done, how do we legitimize Jacob as having the birthright, outside of Esau being tricked into selling it to him? Well, we'll get to that, just not yet. Sorry about that. Allergies racked up a bit. There was a famine in the land, subsequent to the earlier famine that occurred in the days of Abraham. Isaac went to Abimelech, son of the Philistines, at Gerar. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Settle down in the land I will appoint to you. Stay in this land, and then I will be with you and will bless you. For I will give all the lands to your descendants. And I will fulfill a solemn promise that I have made to your father Abraham. I will multiply your descendants so that they will be as numerous as the stars in the sky, and I will give them all these lands. All the nations of the earth will pronounce blessings to one another using the name of your descendants. And this will come to pass because Abraham obeyed me and kept my charge, my commandments, and my statutes, and my laws. So Isaac settled in Gerar. Yeah. When God clearly says not to move somewhere different and promises to bless this area, maybe you should stay in this area. Consider it like the stock market. And God says, don't buy this major company, but stay at this smaller one and it'll increase in value. What do you do? When the men of that place asked about his wife, he replied, "This is my sister." He was afraid to say, "She's my wife," for he thought to himself, "The men of this place are going to kill me to get Rebecca because she's very beautiful." This again. If you're annoyed by these people continuing to make the same mistakes over and over, congratulations. You now understand God a lot better, because that's got to be how God feels all the time. Now reflect on your own repeated failures for a moment, and not just the big ones. Everyone is important. Every single time you have not followed all of God's commands, and we're all in the same boat there. Don't think you're not, don't think I'm not, whatever. Pause this. Go ahead and pause the video for a moment. Think about what you've done and repent. That means to not just be sorry for what you did, but actually decide right here that you're going to change and make better choices. Okay. Of course, then you can click play and watch the rest of the video, which you're probably at right now. After Isaac had been there for a long time, Abimelech, the king of the Philistines, happened to look out his window and observed Isaac caressing his wife Rebekah. So Abimelech summoned Isaac and said, "She's really your wife? Why did you say she's your sister?" Abimelech has to be getting tired of this old trick from this family. It's not the first time it's happened, remember that. Isaac replied, "Because I thought someone might kill me to get to her." And Abimelech exclaimed, "What in the world have you done to us? One of these men might have easily had relations with your wife, and would have brought guilt on all of us." So Abimelech commanded his people, "Whoever touches this man or his wife will surely be put to death." Abimelech really was a decent guy. He wasn't a believer. He believed in the one true God, but he believed in other false gods too. So he was what we would call a pagan. However, he seems to be better than most Hebrews of the day. So nobody's perfect, and nobody's all bad either. Even the worst people in history have some redeeming qualities. I'm not getting into that in this video, or this channel. When Isaac planted in that land, he reaped the same year hundreds of times what he had sown, because the Lord had blessed him. The man became wealthy. His influence continued to grow until he became very prominent. He had many sheep and cattle, and such a great household of servants that the Philistines became jealous of him. So the Philistines took dirt and filled up the wells that his father's servants had dug back in the days of Abraham. So if you don't know, the Philistines are still around today. The name has slightly changed over the decades and centuries, millennia. They're now called Palestine. So you can figure out who the Hebrews are now. And of course the local land disputes between Israel and Palestine, the Hebrews and the Philistines descendants, still there. So it hasn't worked out yet. Hopefully hopefully it can be figured out. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Leave us and go elsewhere, for you become much more powerful than we are." So Isaac left there and settled in Gerar Valley. That's the reason Abimelech gave. But then again, he had plenty of reason not to trust his family as well. They just keep lying. You've already seen this. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug back in the days of his father Abraham. For the Philistines had stopped them up and filled them with dirt after Abraham died. That's important. You're living in a desert. Your ancestors or your father or your grandfather dug a well, and these people just fill them in. It's kind of not cool. Isaac gave these wells the same names his father had given them after he redug them. If you remember, the names of these wells, they had meaning and served as evidence of the record of the Hebrew people. So it wasn't just wells and a source of water being erased, it was the entire history of his people being symbolically erased and then being restored. Sort of like how Israel was wiped out a long time ago and then was restored as a great nation. When Isaac's servant dug in the valley and discovered a well with fresh flowing water there, the heraldsmen of Gerar quarreled with Isaac's herdsmen and said, "Bring water to us." So Isaac named the well Esek, because they argued with him about it. His servants dug another well, but they quarreled over this one too, so Isaac named it Sitnah. Then he moved away from there and dug another well. They didn't quarrel over this one. Yeah, it was so far away. So Isaac named it Rehoboth, saying, "For now the Lord has made room for us, and we will prosper in this land." He is being very generous here. They wouldn't share their well, so he dug another, which they claimed, and another, which they also claimed, and they dug a third well to use. I've never dug a well, but if you have, tell me in the comments, how much trouble is it? Can it be done easily with a shovel? And they didn't have boring machines or anything like that. So how hard is it to dig a well with just a shovel or whatever tools were available at the time? Go ahead and let me know down in the comments. From there, Isaac went up to Beersheba, and the Lord appeared to him that night and said, "I am the Lord God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." Then Isaac built an altar there and worshipped the Lord. He pitched his tent there, and his servants dug a well. This title that was given him, God of Abraham, that'll stick. Muslims, Christians, and Jews all still commonly refer to God as the God of Abraham. Now Abimelech had come to him from Gerar with Ahuzah, his friend, and if I recall, the commander of his army. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me? You hate me and sent me away from you." They replied, "We could plainly see the Lord is with you, so we decided there should be a pact between us and you. Allow us to make a treaty so that you do not do us any harm, just as we have not harmed you. But we have always treated you well before sending you away in peace. Now you are blessed by the Lord." Okay, that's a smart move. If you've ever wondered why America always sides with Israel in modern times, this is likely why. Even if you are a very sinful nation, siding with a nation devoted to God is gonna have some benefit. So Isaac held a feast for them, and they celebrated. Early in the morning, the men made a treaty with each other Isaac sent them off. They separated on good terms. That day, Isaac's servants came and told him about the well that they had dug. "We have found water," they reported. So he named it Sobah. That is why they named the city that has been Beersheba to this day. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, the daughter of Bera the Hittite, as well as Bethmath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. They caused Isaac and Rebekah great anxiety. Now, a lot of people criticize the Bible here for containing polygamy, but I want you to notice this is not shown in a positive light, and just because it contains something, it does not condone it. There's a lot of evil, sinful things that you will find in the Bible that the Bible does not condone. Polygamy is just one of these. You're going to see that in coming chapters. This will not end well. But that's all I got for today. This video is going on a little long. So go ahead and like and subscribe this. Share some of the other videos. And have a best day.